Peace. I'm your brother Crumb, and you are now watching Crumb TV.
Hey, you are now watching Crumb TV.
Crumb TV.
Hey, we in Chicago, y'all, and y'all watching Crumb TV.
It's your brother, Timbuktu. I say,
you are now watching Crumb TV.
You in Chi-Town finest, you hear me? Inglewood, always up to no good.
Man, I'm telling my brother Crumb.
You're watching Crumb TV.
I'm your humble brother, and you are watching Crumb TV.
Reporting live from the Wild Hunter, Southside Chicago.
And you now watching Crumb TV.
And you're watching Crumb TV.
Crumb TV, baby. Hey.
Crumb TV.
If you could, please repeat after me. Peace, Ashe, Islam, Namaste, Hotep, Grand Rising, Assalamu alaikum, Walaikum salam, Boom dia, Oseo, Halito, Wagwan, what up though? Dua-u, Shalom, Salam, Bonjour, Konnichiwa, Ni hao. How are the children? Never baka. Whatever the greeting is in your respective language, I'm your humble brother Crumb here for another installation of Crumb TV. You already know what it is, family. This video is called You People, the movie review. That's right. It was racist trash and interracial propaganda. But before I get into all of that, family, I want to do what I do best, and that's put some respect in your name. And I'll do that by acknowledging the first responders. Number one in the building. Now, there are more than 30 first responders within the first 2 minutes, but we're on like 100 platforms. So I'll just do the first three. We call that the perfect trifecta. And of the perfect trifecta, number one is Low Bay. He says Islam more. Two up, five up. I think that's two on the right. Five on the right, two on the left. I might be backwards, but yeah, Islam, I see you, I love you, I appreciate you. Number two in the building of this perfect trifecta is Intep Robinson. She says shalom. I'm saying shalom back. I see you, I love you, I appreciate you. Number three in the building of this perfect trifecta, it's Kia Enlightened. She gives the green heart, which that's heart chakra. She gives the purple heart, which is for bravery and war and whatever you've gone through. Sparkles and love. Look in the back of her profile picture, family. You're going to see me on Crumb TV. That means so much to me. I am humbled. I'm grateful. I'm honored. Thank you so much. So with that said, I like to try to do housekeeping in the first 5 minutes, allow everybody to get in and just kind of give everybody who's here, a initiative. So if you could, in the first 5 minutes, we call this housekeeping, meaning wipe your feet before you come in the house. Also on the internet is hit the like button as you come into the room. So go and hit that like button on the way in the room. Just the master students, meaning you know who I am. If you know who I am, this isn't your first time seeing me, you are a master student, hit that like button on the way in. And if you don't, then wait to the end of the video and we'll see what you think and you hit like button then. Also, family, subscribe wherever you see me at. Subscribe there because I'm on like 100 platforms. So if I'm wherever you're at, then that's where I want you to hit that button at. So please subscribe, family. That's we call that housekeeping. So now that I've taken care of that, I want to try to get into the program. Even though we still got like 1 minute to go, I'm just super excited. So I say we just get right into it. So racist trash, You People. It was a Netflix film. It's actually in the top 10 right now. I was going to do this last week, but I was busy, and it's still in the top 10. So I said, all right, well, if it's still in the top 10, I'll do it. I wanted to ask the family, let me just drop this link in here. I'm going to drop the link right now. Only if you have seen this film, I'm inviting you to join me, just to see what you think, kind of just chop it up with the family. So come on in. Here's the link. I'm putting a link in the description. I just put the link in the description. If you have seen this film, come on up here with me. If not, please refrain. But if you have, then join me and I'll just, talk black to you. So with that said, it is a Netflix film that came out recently. Somebody reached out to me like, you haven't decoded a lot of films lately, or any for that matter. And I was like, okay, so, I'll do this one for you. So this is how the film starts. It's black and there's a lot of stuff happening. And it says, they talk about black culture on their podcast. And it says, man, does your Barack do coke to excuse his gay stuff? So they're just talking about black culture. And in this particular scene, they're addressing Barack Obama. And they say that he is gay. This is in the movie, which is something I've always said. I personally subscribe to the ideology that Michelle Obama is actually a man, but that's my personal opinion. Based on my research, Malia and Sasha, she did not deliver those babies through the vagina. In her autobiography, The Making of Michelle, which is a very funny title, she says that, she had her babies in vitro. And this is all just a part of the idea that, these are supporting facts illustrating that she is not a she. I digress. So in the movie, they say, yeah, my ideal Barack is just overtly gay, not suspiciously gay. So yeah, moving on. The movie is about this Jewish dude, and it starts with him doing his podcast in his best friend / business partner's apartment, or maybe this place they rent out. I think it's her apartment. But anyway, he uses an alternative black woman to weasel, yes, family, trigger language, to weasel his way into the black culture conversation. She has no standard and will accept anything. That's her role in this movie. She is also the only overweight character. I wish I would have put this in here, but 80% of the so-called black community in terms of females are overweight. This is only for black females, and 80% of that demographic is obese. So now you're seeing depictions where, not only is she angry, but she's overweight. And this is a valid depiction, but she still bothers me. I don't like her character at all. And that's not a phobia. That's just me being, that's my distaste for her. He uses an alternative, and she's a weak mind in my personal opinion. He uses an alternative black woman to weasel his way into the black culture conversation. She has no standard and will accept anything. She is also the only overweight character, which brings into question her discipline. I don't want to play these games where we say, oh, it's a thyroid issue. I think less than 1% of overweight people have a thyroid issue. The reality is she just hasn't no discipline, and she can't control or stop herself from eating, or just consistently, habitually makes the wrong decisions of what she puts in her mouth. That's my take on it. She says, and this is the very beginning of the movie, that he is her favorite Jew. And I'm like, what if he would have said, you're my favorite black girl, or you're my favorite black person, or you're my favorite black gay girl, or you're my favorite black gay overweight? Like, that was just a real, weird statement that she made. I didn't like that. I'm like, who says that? It's just, it just seemed off base to me. But moving forward, he's really engulfed in black culture, so-called. So then they go to the next scene after he's doing his podcast. This is where he goes for a Jewish holiday. It's a synagogue, which is a Christian equivalent of a church. So this is where he goes for his little, Jewish church thing. And the actual place is called Skirball Cultural Center, where a Jewish gathering where Jews, I'm sorry, that should not be ing, where Jews gather and assemble. FYI, fun fact for the family, the word synagogue is just a Jewish word for assembly. So if you assemble, Avengers assemble, then you are in a synagogue. But I digress. So yeah, this is where he goes for a synagogue. This is where they, and notice, because remember, this movie is heavy on culture. The movie starts out, he's at a cultural center. Pay attention. Inside the cultural center, there is an all-white Jewish synagogue celebrating Yom Kippur, which is the most important Jewish holiday amongst practicing Jewish people. And here's a picture of the whole synagogue, the whole assembly. And, you know, it's white bread, 100%. No, nothing else other than tamahu, flugelrod, or what have you. Now, inside the cultural center, they start showing a pan throughout the floor to see everybody's shoes. Everybody's wearing drab black shoes inside the cultural center to represent their culture. And his shoes stand out. This reflects his disdain for his culture. He doesn't like his culture. His culture's boring. And as you can see from his shoes, he's fully engulfed in black culture, so-called. So his sister picks on him for abandoning his culture on the holiest day of the Jewish calendar. She says to their mom, and he gets to dress like he's at Summer Jam, which was kind of, I don't know. I think she's a comedian because everything she said in the movie was kind of like the comedic twist, a comedic edge. So his mother points out how he is abandoning his religion by saying, and I quote, "Ezra, where's your yarmulke?" You know, and you can notice the men, they're wearing yarmulkes. Well, not in this slide. The previous one, I think you can see somebody with a yarmulke on. This person right here has a yarmulke. You can see everybody's yarmulke in this picture, but I digress. So she says, "Ezra, where's your yarmulke?" And you can see the grandma in the back right there, ear hustling. Yeah. She criticizes his tattoos, which are clearly inspired by so-called black culture. She says, and I quote, "Graffiti all over your body? Okay, fine." You know, because she's trying to level with him. And then the grandmother says, "He won't be buried in a Jewish cemetery," to which he responds that he doesn't care. This is the beginning of the movie where he is abandoning Jewish culture. Does this remind you of anything? Yeah, Crumb, this sounds like the story of the Maccabees. Well, yeah, here we go. While the Maccabees had lost control of the cities, they seem to have built a rival government in the countryside. The Maccabees avoided direct conflict with the Greek people, but the internal Jewish civil struggle continued. The rebels, the Maccabees, they harassed, exiled, and killed Jews. Oh, Crumb, the Holocaust, it was genocide. Yeah. Press 666 if you understand the story of the Maccabees was genocide. They targeted a racial group and killed them. Okay? If we're going to tell the story, we're going to tell the whole story. Okay? An internal Jewish struggle continued. The rebels harassed, exiled, and killed Jews, seen as insufficiently anti-Greek, because the Greeks were coming in saying, drop the Jewish culture, bring on the Greek culture. And the Jews who were willing to wear Nikes, who were willing to not wear their yarmulkes, those people, the Maccabees killed them. When the Jews went to Babylon, some of them gave up their culture to join the Babylonian culture. When the Jews went to Spain, or at that time, what was it called? Iberia, they gave up their culture and took the Christian culture, of the ruling class, the Spaniards. This ain't nothing but that all over again. The story of the Maccabees is in this movie. I don't know if anybody picked up on a historical context. Anyway, after the ceremonial session of the synagogue is over, they congregate, and elders barrage him, this Jewish guy, Ezra, with inappropriate sexual questions framed by awkward exchange. The last elder who is saying all this awkward sexual stuff to Ezra within this Jewish gathering on the holiest day of the Jewish calendar. Let me make sure I'm still good. That's trash. Where is that open? Where are you at? Okay, you're over here. Okay, yeah, I'm good. The last elder is his childhood pediatrician who requests to examine his penis. I don't know if anybody caught this part of the movie. He goes and tells his mom, who informs him that the doctor, his childhood pediatrician, is under investigation for sexual crimes. He's a pedo. But then implies, because he's snitching on this guy to his mom, and his mom implies that this guy's innocent until proven guilty. Because we know that respectfully, Jewish people are very big on the law and the judicial process. Remember, what is the root word of judicial? Hold on, let me. Oh, I got it right here. Oh, I did. Okay. What is the root word of judicial? Ding, 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 ding. Somebody got it right. The root word of judicial is Judah. Judah. You Jews, the judicial system, because we know that these people are very big on the law. A lot of people will tell you Jews brought you the law. I already did a video about how Jews brought you the law. Go tap in, family. So now the mom, within her Jewish spirit says, hey, yeah, you're complaining that he sexually harassed you and, tried to molest you. And you also, now you're aware that he's done this to other people, but we're still going to give him the benefit of the doubt because we're Jewish. As Jewish people, we give each other the benefit of the doubt. Okay? Moving forward. So when we dealing with this sexual predator, this is in their culture. The movie's about culture. I'm not going to stop saying it. The movie's about culture. So go back. There's a Jewish tradition. I forgot what it's called. Jewish tradition of penis, babies, circumcision. This is it. Brit Milah. I think that's it. Yeah. Brit Milah, the circumcision ritual. So this is all a part of their culture. Never forget, infants contract herpes from oral suction during Jewish circumcision. A part of their culture is once they cut the baby's penis, they give him his first blowjob. Respectfully, that's part of the culture. Respectfully. But so in the movie, when he says this, it's like, okay, I get it. I get what they're doing right now, in terms of playing light to the culture, which is very dark, to be honest with you. So family, when I tell you that this came out, remember in the Jewish community, they also had a issue with measles spreading. Measles spread through Crown Heights. Remember, Crown Heights is the Jewish part of Brooklyn. This is from nyc.gov. Most individuals have resided in Williamsburg and Brooklyn. However, community transmissions of measles has also been identified in Crown Heights and now Sunset Park, Brooklyn. Do a lot of Jews live in Crown Heights? Oh, it's talking to me. Let me just. Crown Heights also according to Wikipedia, Crown Heights also contains a significant number of Hasidic Jews. Okay. So, when we say that they were spreading herpes, they have respectfully, this is documented, a history of spreading these infections. And if you look and, do your research, you're going to see that a lot of people blame Jewish people for spreading Black Plague. Press 777 if you didn't know that. Press 777. Crumb, see, people be so quick to just lump all Jews in one category. Crumb, it was white people and the Black Plague. It wasn't just random white people, respectfully. It wasn't just Tamalhu, Flugelrod, and troglodytes. A lot of people said it was Jewish people who did that. According to Wikipedia, persecution of the Jews during the Black Death. The persecution of Jews during the Black Death considered a series of violent mass attacks and massacres. Jewish communities were falsely, and this is what they're saying falsely blamed. They were the ones spreading this. Now they're saying it was false. You tell me, you know, were they responsible for that? Or was it some other Tamahu? I don't know. You tell me what you think. But meanwhile, this is all in line with this whole thing with him and his pediatrician. Moving forward. So I don't know why that's there. That should not be there. That should be after. Let me see. Where did I go wrong? His grandma, oh yeah, she says, you won't be buried in a Jewish cemetery. He responds, I don't care. Remember, family, a part of your culture is from life until death. If you're a Mason, if you're, people with a culture live by their culture and they die by their culture. I don't know if you know anybody who you suspect of being a Mason and they're dead, look at their headstone. Anybody who you suspect of being a Mason and they're dead, so-and-so's a Mason. No, he's not a Mason. How do you know, Crumb? Because his headstone doesn't have the insignia. He didn't live and die by it. And that's not just with Masonry. That's with the military as well. Once a soldier, always a soldier. In Forrest Gump, after they were done serving as a military, Lieutenant Dan was still Lieutenant Dan. This is at the end of the movie. You got legs. That was at the end. The war was over by the time he said that line. Lieutenant Dan was always Lieutenant Dan. And people live and die by their culture. You're also going to see, this is a necropolis in Egypt. Necropolis is the city of the dead. Necropolis, necro meaning dead, opolis meaning city. Metropolis is a city. Necropolis is a city of the dead. Another name for the city of the dead is a cemetery or a graveyard, a necropolis. Because the ancestors, they lived by their culture and they died by their culture. So, it was something they very much wore on their sleeve. Meanwhile, Amira, his girlfriend or soon to be, finalizes her breakup on the grounds of an ignorant Black standard of keeping it real. She says to her boyfriend, and I quote, he says, why are you breaking up with me? She says, because you don't know how to keep it real. Now, in this movie, her husband, who she marries ultimately, is the fakest white boy on the face of the earth. And she can't see it, but she's mad at the Black man, so-called, because he can't keep it real. I need you to hold this idea because the movie really, this part is kind of a slap in the face. Ah! Spoiler alert, she falls for a sucker as Tamahu, Flugelrod Troglodyte, who is fake. Side note, her boyfriend has better tattoos. She says, oh, it just feels fake. How come with this dude it feels fake, but her fake alarm don't go off for the Tamahu? I don't like that, family. I don't like that at all. She says, and I don't really feel seen by you in any way. What? What does that mean? What does that even mean? So Mira's ex is genuinely working with her father to earn her. And she exposes him. So she says, give me your phone. I'll give you my phone number. I'll type it in because she changed her number. So as he thinks that he's giving her, she's typing in her number, she's going through his text and she sees her father's communications with her boyfriend she's about to break up with. And her father says, I'm sorry. Her ex-boyfriend says in the text, what should I say? I'm out of moves. The father says, give her the classic James Baldwin. The most dangerous creation of any society is the man who has nothing to lose. And he says, thanks, Mr. Muhammad. So now this guy who's working with her father to be her man, she's tearing him down. I thought that's what you were supposed to do. If you really like a girl, you go through her father. And he did it the right way, but she said he's fake. Too often you got these ratchet girls who don't want to do what's best. Father knows best, okay? Father knows best. So her father knows best, and she goes against her father by way of her ex. Moving forward. I'm not playing. Red flag number one. I meant to put, there's like 100 red flags, but I didn't put them all in there. But this is the first red flag. She made it racist. So he is at work and he gets off work. He calls an Uber and he mistakes her for the Uber and gets in the back of her car. And he tells her, and she says this: "You saw a black woman in an inexpensive car and thought it was your God-given white right to get in the back seat and tell me where to go." She told him to get out and he did not leave. When she said get out, she says, "It's a tale as old as time with your racist ass. Get out." She told him to get out. See, and this for me is very rich. There was a movie called Get Out. I think it was, wait, was this, family, you tell me, maybe I'm mistaken. Was that movie called Get Out? I can't remember. What was the name of that? Was the name of the movie Get Out or no? I can't remember what the name of the movie was. I think it was Get Out, which was a racist movie. Or I'm sorry, not racist, but it had a racial tone. Yeah, the family said, yeah, that movie was called Get Out. So she tells him to get out, and he doesn't leave. This is the classic Tamahu move. They get on your property. If the Tamahu gets on your property, it's hard to get them off. No, I'm not joking. That's not a joke. These people are colonizers. That's right, family. That's right. She told him to get out and he didn't leave. He made her submit. Because he didn't leave. I'm King Ding-a-ling in this Jane. Even though she is not an Uber, he does it in a very coy way, because that's how they operate. So he didn't strong arm his way. He, he was crafty, slick in the mouth way of being able to impose him staying in her car. So now she acquiesces. I don't know if you know what that word means. It is a little bit of a big word. So here we go. Acquiesce. Acquiesce. Accept something reluctantly, but without protest. Sarah acquiesced in his decision. He made her acquiesce. After she said leave, he did not leave. That was her submitting to his will, and she acquiesced. Now, the funny thing about her submission to him, she knew he punked her. And she says, even though she's not an Uber, and I'm saying, even though she's not an Uber, he stayed in the back seat while she chauffeured him around. She knew she was wrong, so she made a snarky comment saying, "This ain't no driving Miss Daisy shit, okay?" Well, he's in the back seat, and you in this movie, in this scene was called Driving Miss Daisy Gender Reverse Roles. Gender roles reversal. In Driving Miss Daisy, it was a black man driving around a white woman. So now in this scene, it's a so-called black woman driving around a so-called white man. Ain't that something, y'all? Ain't that's real rich, family. That's really rich. You were wrong. A black dude, a melanated dude, a brother would have got in the front seat, but he, with his imperial attitude, stayed in the back like it was an Uber, like she was a chauffeur, and she knew it was weird. That's why she made that comment of Driving Miss Daisy. Now, this is their first official connection. Now they're finally on the same page. He's established dominance, and she serves him. That's the relationship they have per this scene. Now, as soon as they get on the same page, why they play Nipsey Hussle? For me, that felt disrespectful. They played the song Last Time I Checked by Nipsey Hussle. I didn't like that. That part seemed a little bit disrespectful to Nipsey, rest in peace. After he takes her and forces her to submit to him, then the song Last Time I Checked by Nipsey Hussle comes on. Excuse me? Excuse me? That ain't right. You know, this movie, that was racist, and it was a shot at Nipsey, no pun intended. The next day, her brother checked her on dating a white boy. She talks integration while being flooded with Egyptian regalia. And she says, I don't date based off my daddy's approval, okay? I'm grown. As she said, look at her bracelet. What is she wearing on her bracelet? What is she wearing on her bracelet? I put that up there. You can't, if I put the Jeopardy music up there, you can't see it. She's wearing an ankh.
Say, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
Nah, that ain't right. So in the conversation where you talking about going white, you up here flooded with Egyptian regalia? Listen, if you're gonna date the white boy, date the white boy. You know, but why, you know, it don't feel right to me when people sport this so-called Black Power, you know, movement symbolism, but you know, they all up the Europeans' booty. Her father comes in to the tune of James Brown's hit classic, The Big Payback. We know the energy that he's gonna bring based off the music. When he first comes on, when we first see her father, James Brown comes on, The Big Payback, and he's wearing a black hoodie saying Fred Hampton was murdered. Did anybody catch that? Was that just me who caught that? I don't know. Let me drop the link again. Family, only if you have seen this movie. Only if you have seen this movie and you want to tap in on live. Here's the link. Only if you've seen the movie. The link is in the chat. So yeah, moving forward. He says, laughingly, well, his son's laughing. Eddie Murphy says, how am I the darkest person in this room? Eventually, everybody going to be looking like Bruno Mars. I don't know if he got that from Malachi Z. York, but Malachi Z. York said in the future, the government is going to push a neutrinoid program where they want everybody to be neutral. The melting pot, this neutrinoid program is where we melt together. And he is addressing this government ploy that the first person, Dr. Malachi Z. York, exposed with this whole neutrinoid movement. And he says, eventually, everybody going to be looking like Bruno Mars. And that's a true statement. This is coming from VOA. Americans see more interracial relationships in advertising. They are pushing this down our throat. Don't you want you a white girl, Crumb? Then everybody get mad at me when Becky come around. Nah, get her out of here, man. No. Where Kiki at? I need a sister. I can't resist her. Red rice and beans ain't miss her. Her father asked if he is Muslim, and she says, yes, he is definitely African. She didn't. He asked you, was this guy that you're dating? Because her brother snitched on her. Is the guy you're dating Muslim? She says, yes, he is definitely African. What did she mean when she said that? You know, there's a lot of Moors in the room, and I want to school all these Moors because maybe I'm not schooling you, but I've never heard you say this. What if I told you the primary population of Morocco was Jewish? Those people in Morocco right now, those are Jews. Oh, Crumb, the colonizers, the Arabs over in Egypt. Okay, the Arabs are in Egypt, but who's in Morocco? The Berbers? No. The Egyptians? No. Those are Jews over in Morocco right now. You know when right now is? That's right, family. Moroccan Jews. Romanized Al-Yuda al-Maghrib, Maghriba, are Jews who live in or are from Morocco. Moroccan Jews constitute as ancient community during the Roman times. Remember, Rome kicked these Jews out of Rome, and they went to North Africa with so-called black people who were ruling at that time, and they were the subordinate race until they sold out their, they came in, hey, we're going to be friends, come help us. And then the people said, yeah, we'll help you. And then they stabbed them in the back. And now, you done looked up and they got the land and your ass in in some type of diaspora. Jews began immigrating to the region as early as 70 CE. They were later met by a second wave of migration from the Iberian Peninsula. Iberia, remember, Eber means Hebrew. Eber means Hebrew. That was the Hebrew Peninsula at that time. Hold on, let me make sure I'm all wise, right, and exact. Eber means Hebrew. Not Hebrew, come on. Eber, like Iberian Strait, that's not an Iberian, that's Iberian. The name Aramaic Hebrew root is connected to the crossing over and the beyond. Eber, right there, folks. The Iberian Strait was the Hebrew or the Jewish community in Spain who got kicked out of Spain because that was the crossing over. Oh, they crossed the Nile. No, they crossed the Red Sea over into Iberia or the land of the Hebrews. Anyway, they were later met by a second wave of immigrants from the Iberian Peninsula in the period which immediately preceded and followed the issuing of the 1492 Alhambra Decree. 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. Why? Because in 1491, the last battle, remember, Alhambra is where the word Alamo comes from. Remember the Alamo, which was the last stand of the Mexicans? Alhambra was the last stand of the Moors. After the Moors got defeated at the Battle of Granada, remember, Alhambra is in Granada. After the Moors got defeated at the Battle of Granada in 1491, 1492, the Alhambra Decree says Jews got to leave or become Christian. When Jews were expelled from Spain because they didn't want to be Christians, and soon afterward from Portugal, because they got expelled and went over to Morocco under the Moors of Alhambra. Alhambra is the last Moorish palace. Alhambra Palace Fortress Facts. Alhambra, the place or fortress of Moorish monarchs of Granada, Spain. Y'all gonna have to talk black to me. Somebody gonna have to talk black. Alhambra was a palace, a fortress of the Moorish monarchs of Granada, Spain. Alhambra signifies in Arabic the red. Go look at the Alhambra Palace. This is one of the best places in Spain, in Iberia, where the Hebrews are from. Okay? So now, when they got kicked out of Iberia, they went over to Morocco. The Jews were expelled from Spain and went to Morocco. The second wave of immigrants changed Moroccan Jewry, which largely embraced Sephardic liturgy, to switch to a mostly Sephardic identity. Remember, when you're dealing with Sephardic Jews, well, we'll talk about that in just a second. According to the PewResearch.org, 2/3 of U.S. Jews say they are Ashkenazi. This is according to an article titled Number 9, Race, Ethnicity, Heritage, and Immigration Among U.S. Jews. 3% describe themselves as Sephardic, 1% describe themselves as Mizrah, although an additional 6% identify with some mixture of these. The number one population of Jews, know it or not, here we come. I'm gonna find. Okay, I can't sing. But anyway, when you dealing with Jews, the number one type of Jew is a Ashkenazi Jew. The number two type of Jew is Sephardic. The biggest type of the most common Jew is Ashkenazi. The second most common Jew is Sephardic. The Sephardic Jews, the second biggest population of Jews is in Morocco. Here is a picture of Netanyahu. I believe he's the president or prime minister of Israel, standing in front of two Israeli flags, flanked by the Moroccan flags. Kind of looks very similar to me. Press 888 if this looks similar to you. Morocco and Israel, both Jewish states. Press 88. I'm going to lead this parade because, you know, signs and symbols are for the conscious mind. When you're dealing with Morocco today, you're dealing with Jews. Stop playing with me. That's all wise, right, and exact. I talked about that in my video called Jewish History, the ancient history of the Jews. I did almost 2 hours 2 months ago. Almost hit 10,000 views. Go watch the video. I went in depth. Moreover, me and MOI teamed up a month before I did that video and did a video called Blacks and Jews, which got 5.5 thousand. Go watch that video. When you dealing with the Moors, you dealing with the Jews. How many videos I gotta make? Moving on. Her father told her to get her beliefs in line and then her heart will follow. Hold that piece to the end of the movie because she didn't do what her father knows best. She didn't do what her father told her to do, and she ended up paying for it at the end of the movie. Cut scene, next scene. Now they're outside and she is done talking to her dad. Let's go back to the other guy, her boyfriend, Ezra. Ezra goes where his friend works, which is called culture. Family, remember, when Ezra first went to synagogue or the Christian version of church, it was the cultural center. Look right here. It says Skirball Cultural Center. Everywhere Ezra goes, it says culture. So when I tell you this movie was based on the amalgamation of Black and Jewish culture, I don't need you to question me, because if you really watch the movie, right there is the word culture. When you watch these movies, stop watching movies. Press 999 if you agree we need to stop watching movies for entertainment and watch them like documentaries. Stop watching movies like they're entertainment and start watching movies like they're documentaries. If you agree with that, Matrix was not a movie, it was a documentary. If you agree with that, can you please chime in with a 999? I know I can't be the only one who sees the writing on the wall, literally. So he goes to tell his best friend and business partner that he's dating a Black girl, and she says, "Hold up, you're dating a Black girl? Black girl? What you mean a Black girl?" See, because she's a part of the LGBT. So when you say Black girl, that could mean Black guy. You dating a Black girl? Black girl? Not a dude in a dress? Because remember, that's the culture she is from. Black girl could mean something other than Black girl, according to her culture. It was interesting to me that the LGBT character made a distinguishment between a real Black woman, which automatically insinuates a fake woman. She says, "Yo, shut up. You bagged a real one." Yeah. When I say Black, when I say female, when I say girl, when I say lady, I'm only referring to human beings with a vagina. I know some people within the new school of thought don't agree. There's 99,000 genders, Crumb. Okay, let's not debate that today. But you know, the movie made that distinction, is all I'm saying. This was a modern woman jab at the red pill movement, holding generalizations in contempt. So he tells his business partner slash friend that he's going on a date with this real black girl. And while on the date, he says, I don't think anybody should be put in a box ever. Now, remember, at the very beginning, I can't remember what slide I'm on. At the very beginning of the movie, his business partner and best friend, the gay girl, says, "Oh, my favorite Jew." Why didn't you check her and say, "Listen, don't put me in a box. Just say I'm your best friend. Why do I got to be your favorite Jew? Why do you make that distinction and put me in a box?" He's just pandering. He's a panda bear. Going against the red pill movement. We don't do generalization. Generally speaking, your people are Jewish, and that's not bad. What's wrong with that? Generally speaking, Arizona's hot. Generalizations are true. Generally speaking, if you get a college education, you're going to make more than a high school graduate. Generalizations are true. I don't know why people outside of the red pill community are so mad with the red pill community for holding up generalizations as if they're wrong. So I felt like he was being a pander bear when he said, I don't think anybody should be put in a box ever. Shut up. Once they got matching shoes, the relationship was official. Shoes in Black culture mean more culturally. Moreover, it is said that if you buy a man a pair of shoes, he'll walk out of your life. I don't know if she bought those shoes or not. I think he bought the shoes. But if you buy your spouse a pair of shoes, listen to me now, believe me later. This is what we say in the hood. If you buy your spouse a pair of don't buy your spouse a pair of shoes, buy her a watch, anything. But if you buy your spouse a pair of shoes, they're going to walk out of your life. This is just something they say in the hood. So he buys her a pair of shoes, and in the end of the movie, she walks out of his life. Ain't that something, y'all? Ain't that something? So now, the matching pair of shoes indicates they're in a relationship, and it's some song playing saying, I'm with you, or something to that effect. So, the soundtrack is really confirming the storyline. So, they're finally a couple. They're going... I don't know what I thought I unplugged something. They're finally a couple and they're going on dates. He is so happy that he infiltrated Black culture through another Black woman. The easiest way to infiltrate the culture is through our women. That's why the first letter of the LGBT is L, because they're putting women out front to manipulate the rest of society. He is so happy infiltrating Black culture through a so-called Black woman who stands for nothing. She don't stand for nothing. Her father said, get your belief system in order and love will follow. She didn't put her belief system in first. She's like, listen, I'm not really big on my culture. I'll date outside my race because I don't have that level of loyalty. Fine, no judgment. But look what he's wearing. This is symbolized through his Wu-Tang graphic tee. He's finally dating a Black girl. He's so happy. And he's wearing a Wu-Tang tee. Bro, shout out to Wu-Tang, shout out to Killer Priest, shout out to Little Da Vinci. He's in the comments. I seen him earlier. But with that said, he is immersed in Black culture. We call that a culture vulture. The next date, he takes her to Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. Bro, I'll slap fire out your mouth. Ah! He's wearing a Cypress Hill shirt, and he took her to Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. He is so immersed in the Black culture, it's pathetic. Culture vulture. Then they go on a date. I think they're at her crib, or they might be at his crib. I got to be honest, I'm not sure. But anyway, they're at one of their houses. Probably, I don't know. And you can see he's putting her on to Malcolm X, so to speak. I don't think he's putting her on, but you get the idea. It says in this scene, he talks about Malcolm X to her. He holds this Muslim in high regard, supposedly. And again, the song "I'm With You" is playing because they're with each other, and he's taking on their cultural differences head on, or so it seems. This scene stays in line with the hip-hop graphic tee theme as he wears a Death Row Records tee. Bro, you got a Black girl, you're watching Black leaders, you're wearing Black musical clothing. bro, be your. Remember, she broke up with her boyfriend because she said he wasn't keeping it real. Press 111 if this European, if this Tamahu, if this Flugelrod, if this troglodyte is not keeping it real. Press 111. How come she was so mad at her black boyfriend because he won't keeping it real? Press 111 if the Tamahu clearly is not keeping it real, even though keeping it real is a very ignorant concept in the black community. Most times when so-called black people keep it real, they're about to do something ignorant. I will never keep it real because I'm not dealing with you, that Negro mindset, that black Negro and colored. We got to keep it real, Crumb. I'm a real nigga. No, bro, you can be a real nigga by yourself. I'm not a real nigga. I'm not a nigga at all. That's you, bro. I don't deal with that nigga culture. That's low vibrational, family. Stop playing with me. So anyway, she broke up with her boyfriend because he won't keeping it real, and now she get with Goofy here. Hold on, because I'm taking all types of shots. She dealing with so now she dealing with Goofy here, and he's keeping it real. No. He said that she was obsessed with him because of his Judaism swagger. Bro, don't ever. Even though he hates his culture. What Judaism swagger? You don't even wear a yarmulke. What are you talking about? You out this jank wearing Nikes talking about Judaism culture?
I said, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
I'm sorry, talking about Judaism swagger? Bro, where I'm from, we would call you a wigger. We don't call that Judaism swagger. We call that being a wigger. Don't type in what a wigger is. I don't want to trigger the algorithm, but that's not cool. Nobody should be attracted to that. So even though he hates his culture, she thinks he likes him because of his culture. That's very rich of you. So finally, he introduces her to his mom, to his family. And his mom, is in the room and she's all cap. She in this joint capping. I don't even like using words like that. That's just, I don't know. But anyway, when when his mom meets his girlfriend, his mom mentions her Hispanic maid who is like family. She oversees her relationship. She oversells her relationship with her minority maid. Why would you sell yourself as being besties with your minority maid to your son's black girlfriend? It just seems like it just seems very insincere to me. So Ezra corrects his privileged mother by saying, I don't think Lupita's coming over all the way down here just pro bono. So right now his mom is she's being racist covertly. She's being racist, she's diet racist. And he calls his mother out on her deluded idea of her relationship with minorities, which is the conversation she wants to have because his girlfriend is a minority. When she's around other Jewish people or white equivalents, she doesn't have these type of conversations. All the while she goes to meet his family, she's wearing a Public Enemy tee. This whole hip hop graphic tee thing in the movie is overkill. But anyway, she's wearing a Public Enemy tee with an Ankh necklace while he dresses Jewish around his family. I don't know if you can see it, family, but she's wearing an Ankh necklace. But why don't he have a Public Enemy tee on? Why do he look like a white guy who's ready to go to the golf course? So, you dress and move a certain way around different type of people. In this movie, he said he was a chameleon. He said, you know, where I'm from, we call that two-faced. He said he was a chameleon. He act a certain way when he get around certain people. And where does he get that from? Obviously, his mama. The mom says that she feels that the police are, I quote, effed up towards black people. Why are you go over to Becky and have that conversation? Go over to Cody and have that conversation. Don't get around black people and start trying to, you know, talk black. You a chameleon. I see why you a fake, you know, I see why you're not real, because your mama do that. He get it from his mama. That's right. Anyway, so after his mama does it, now he can't, for the life of him, he can't smell his own sugar honey iced tea. For the life of him, he can't smell his own sugar honey iced tea, if you know what that stands for, but he can see it with his mama. He can't look in the mirror and see that he's doing it, but he can see when his mama's doing it. Ain't that something? Ain't that something, y'all? He checks his mom to chill, and she says, I'm being me. I'm thriving. Oh! No, you're racist. Stop it. Then she goes on to say, and I certainly don't need my son to tell me how to behave. Somebody need to tell you how to behave. Oh! Sit down. And while you're at it, he need to sit down too. And he says, it's just the police stuff and like Magic Johnson, because she started talking about Magic Johnson too. Like, you're talking to her like she's a black person and not my girlfriend who is a person. And she says, I talk about that a lot. And he says, with who? With all my friends, with everybody I know. We're always, no, you're lying. You and Marilyn talk about police brutality? Can't get enough of it. Can't get enough of it. Shut up. I don't know. Well, she's not Jewish. Because, you know, she says, but I love her. I accept her. He says, really? She says, yeah. He says, even though she's not Jewish, she says, she says, why do you think I don't like her? You know, she's not Jewish. She says, I mean, it would be nice if she were Jewish, sure. Remember, she prefers Jewish women over black women. Press 222 if you can read between the lines. If she just said, I prefer Jewish women over black women, right then, press 222. Because I ain't the smartest person in the world, but that's what I interpreted that she said, right? This isn't a movie. This is not me attacking anybody or saying that I think that this is how they feel behind closed doors. The movie is giving you an insight to how they talk and how they feel behind closed doors. She prefers Jewish women over black women. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that, but y'all better stop playing like everybody's kumbaya. That was her racist moment, and that was the receipts. And she goes on to substantiate why she feels like that. This is why I would like somebody else to join the live with me so they could read these subtitles. So she says, well, our people's numbers are dwindling. We already know that. We already know that. Family, the master student destroys the overpopulation myth and exposes population collapse. There is no overpopulation. Bill Gates. Y'all better shut up. Stop it. Ain't no overpopulation. We going extinct. What are y'all talking about? Bill Gates? Overpopulation. Where? Where? But yeah, check out that video. I made that 4 months ago. Ain't no overpopulation. And she admitted we going extinct. Our numbers are dwindling. She says the reason you should be with a Jewish girl is because it would make your life easier. Family, she ain't lying. The root word of relationship, hold on. The root word of relationship is relate. It's easier for you to relate to people who share your culture, your morals, your ethics, your more ways, your folklores, your belief systems. It's easier to get along with somebody in a relationship with somebody you relate to. Ain't that something, y'all? Well, what do you know? You mean if I can relate to somebody, it'll be easier for a relationship? Well, yeah. Crazy, right? So yeah, she's right. This whole race mixing thing is not what it's all cracked up to be. Then she starts flip-flopping because they do that really, very often in the movie, her and him, like mama, like son. Oh my God, I'm gonna have black grandbabies. Oh, yo, stop it. Your great granddaddy was black. Go watch this video. Hold on, where is it at? Is it where's it at? Where's it at? That video I did. Let me just go through these real quickly. I'm gonna find it. That video I did called Jewish History. Go watch this video. The original. Not sure what happened right then, but I'm back. But anyway, yeah. Let me share my screen again. I don't know what happened. Okay. Yeah, go back to my video. We're gonna have black grandbaby. Yeah. Black in your family line ain't new. You came from us. You right now, only thing you're doing is just setting the record, getting back on track, getting back to your melanated roots. Oh my God, I'm gonna have black grandbabies. So anyway, where did she say that at? Yeah, right here. So yeah, she says, we're a family of color. You've always been a family of color. The original Jewish people were melanated. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, lady? So this is according to Wikipedia with the title, which reads Jewish ethnic divisions. Historically, European Jews have been classified as belonging to two major groups, Ashkenazi or Germanics, meaning German or medieval Hebrew, denoting their Central European base, and the Sephardim, Sephardim or Hispanics, meaning the people over in Hispaniola or Iberia, denoting the Muslims, the Moors. You come from the Moors. What are you talking about? What is she talking about? So you got two types of Jews. The Jews in the green, those are Ashkenazis. This is a map of where Jewish people live. The greater demographic, the greater population. The greater population of Jews live in two primary areas. The Ashkenazi Jews live in the green area, and the Sephardic Jews live in the yellow area. Okay? The further south you get, the more Jewish it get, or Sephardic Jewish it get. Those are people from our lineage. Okay? Moving forward. Mom, we are now the future. You're right. Now you're the future because you were about to be the past. You were about to go extinct. You was about to say bye-bye to the world. So now he goes to his business partner and best friend, the gay black girl who's overweight, and they're at a restaurant, and he tells her his plans of proposing to the black girl, Amira. And he says, I'm just going to, and the black girl says, this ring is very small. And he says to her, I'm just going to be like, it's my grandma's Holocaust ring. They can't say shit. Once you drop the Holocaust, they're like, it's not a Holocaust box. And he says, you're right. Yeah, you want to put it in like a satchel, dirty it up. He says, yeah, I think I should Holocaust it down. Yeah, we got to Holocaust it down for sure. A lot of you know about Donald Trump and when they stormed the Capitol, those people who supported Donald Trump were called election deniers. Well, election deniers is not the first wave. The first wave was Holocaust deniers, and I'm not saying that I am, because if I do, I'll get in trouble. So I'm not saying that. But a lot of people will tell you that was a media sham. It was just a bunch of propaganda. They just made it seem, they really played it up. They made a mountain out of a molehill. So in this part of the movie, he says, I'm going to pretend this is a part of this fake thing that we've made up, and I'm going to sell it like that, and nobody can say anything. I found that to be very distasteful. So now he is so against his culture, but as you can see, he uses his culture when it works for him. If he doesn't like a part of his culture, he denies it. If he a part of his culture that can benefit him, he uses it to his benefit. This guy is very sleazy when it comes to his culture. Very sleazy. So now, before he goes to propose to her, he has a date with her parents where he gets their approval for her hand in marriage. And her father says, so do you hang out in the hood all the time, or do you just come up here for our food and women? Eddie Murphy was all gas, no brakes in this movie. That right there cut deep. You cut me deep, Shrek. You cut me real deep right then. He said, do you come down to the hood all the time, or you just come for our food and our women? That's truth pill. That one was hard. Anybody remember that white DJ accused of trying to infect 700 black women and girls with HIV? Do you come down to the hood all the time, or do you just come down for our girls, our women, and our food? What a question. What a question. All gas, no brakes. Remember that white boy that came down to the hood preying on our daughters and our wives, our ladies, our sisters, our aunties? Notice that didn't make national headlines. A bunch of people, we need to stop Cody. Meek Mills and all the gangster rappers gave him a pass. Jay-Z approved this Tamahu. Never forget, your favorite rapper was okay with this dude. See, and that's why I don't like that type of stuff, family. He says, yeah, I'm kind of like a chameleon in a way, I guess. You're kind of like a chameleon? You're kind of like a chameleon? What do you mean? You're two-faced, bro. When you get around certain people, you act a certain way. That's disingenuous. What do you mean you're kind of like a chameleon? What's your problem? Because Jesus Christ was half black and half Jewish, right? Ow! No. Jesus Christ was half black and half Jewish, right? That's what they said in the movie. That's what they said in the movie. I was like, oh, I didn't know that's what people were saying in the Jewish community. Well, keep in mind, Jewish people don't believe in Jesus if they are practicing Jews. So that was kind of a poor reference on his side. I don't know what would make him say that. Jesus Christ, technically, I imagine, had mixed race children. Okay, so this is a Jew who knows nothing about Jesus, but I guess it's like a funny moment. Because according to the story, he didn't have any kids, but that's if you believe in that type of stuff. But anyway, yeah, so he's tweaking on this one. And then, of course, you have the GOAT. He was mixed. Our guy, the GOAT, who's the GOAT? Our guy, the legend, Malcolm X. He said Malcolm X was mixed. I didn't get the let me ask the listening audience. There's about 200 people in the room right now. Press 1 if Malcolm X was mixed. Press 2 if he wasn't. Press 1 if you say, yeah, Malcolm X was mixed. Press 2 if you be like, nah, he was a brother. To my understanding, he wasn't mixed, but I didn't know that's what they were saying about X, about Jesus. I don't know, but anyway, after the failed meeting with her family, he goes and talks to her about it because he wanted to get their approval before he asked her to marry him. So she says, "What happened?" And he says, "It was a nightmare. I totally blacked out. I effed up." She says, because she doesn't know that he wants to propose to her. "My mom just called me and said that you'd had a horrible meeting with them. What happened?" And he's just really feeling bad. And she says, "Why would you take my parents to Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles?" Ah! I gotta be honest, that's tacky. That's tacky. That's in poor taste. That's racist. Why would you take the mama and daddy to the neighborhood Greasy Spoon? Black people love chicken. Let me take them there. But listen, Amira, this is the type of guy you like, right? The type of guy who be keeping it real. As far as I'm concerned, this is what she gets. Well, that's the type of guy you dated, and that's how he gonna handle your parents. With this ignorant disrespect. No, it's not messed up. It's not because he pulls out a ring and tells that he was trying to get their approval and he messed up. And once she sees the ring box, she's, "You didn't mess up." She flip-flopping. Remember, she don't stand for nothing. She's an archetype. She represents the modern Black woman who doesn't stand for anything and who fall for anything. I'm sorry, who doesn't stand for something and will fall for anything. And he says, "No, it is because your dad got to give me approval." And she's like, "F my dad. F my family." So he says, "Okay, I'm going to take off my shoe so I don't crease it," because he's about to get on one knee and propose. Did anybody catch this part of the movie? Did anybody catch this part of the movie? Why is he taking off his shoe to propose to this woman? Somebody got to tap in. This movie was deep as a tall chick. That was an insensitive joke. Please forgive me. But yeah, so he makes an excuse of using vain Black shoe love culture, because Black people love shoes. And he uses that to hide his holy Jewish culture. What do you mean, Crumb? What are you saying? Jews take off their shoes before they pledge? Before they propose? Yeah. It's called haliza. Haliza is, under biblical systems of levirate marriage, the process involves the widow making a declaration, taking off a shoe. According to Jewish, this is the story of Ruth. Go to the book of Ruth and you'll find the story where Boaz takes off his shoe in order to propose to Ruth. This is a Jewish story from the Hebrew Jewish Old Testament, and he does that in the movie, but he hides his Jewish culture behind vain black culture. Well, you know, black people love shoes, so I don't want to mess my shoes up because proposing to you is not more important than creasing my shoe, because that's what he thinks black people want to hear. But he's not taking off his shoe because of that. He's doing it because that's called haliza. That's a Jewish tradition, a part of Jewish culture. Anyway, so yeah, she says yes. I will marry you. So while she is sporting a sparkling Ankh necklace, which you can see clearly in this slide, she leads the conversation saying that her family doesn't like him, and she knows that his family damn sure don't like her. They both agree that their nuclear families should have a dinner meet and greet, because, you know, what could go wrong? So I wanted to click this, which I thought I had the link up, but apparently I don't. So let me close these out, and I'm going to click this link. I'm going to switch the microphone real quick so you can, oh, it's not going to let you hear it. I did that once before. Crikey. I was trying to think of what I'm going to do. Condola Rashad, a fresh face to the classic Juliet. She said, remember, I'm going somewhere. You know, my parents don't like you, and your parents don't like me. At this particular part of the movie, like, where have I seen this movie before? Oh, yeah. Romeo and Juliet in Harlem. Where she acknowledged that her family don't like him and his family don't like her. That's Romeo and Juliet in Harlem. This movie is a copycat of another movie. Well, not a movie. It was a stage show. And I'll read you the NPR a little bit of it. Many people might know Condola Rashad as the daughter of actress Felicia Rashad, who played Claire Huxtable on The Cosby Show, and NFL sportscaster Ahmad Rashad. The 26-year-old got Tony Award nominations for her performances in Stick Fly and Trip to the Bountiful. Now she takes her first lead role on Broadway in the new production, Romeo and Juliet. Her Romeo is Orlando Bloom, Lord of the Rings fame. Condola Rashad spoke with Tell Me More guest host, somebody, about making the iconic role. I'm not going to go into it because we already know about Romeo and Juliet, but this is in Harlem, and that one was featuring the Cosby Show star Claire Huxtable's daughter. I thought that was just very interesting, but let's move on. At the dinner date, because, you know, this is a Romeo and Juliet situation. At the dinner date, his mother asks if they have made wedding plans. She gives a weird response saying, "We want to do something that represents just us." Hold this idea. I'm coming back to it. She's a GD liar. We want to do something that represents just us. This seems as if she is abandoning both cultures. We're not going to do anything Jewish. We're not going to do anything based on my culture. That's what she said. Go watch the movie if you want. It's trash, but if you want to watch it, go watch it, and you'll see when she says that. So her mother chimes in asking who will officiate the marriage. The wedding. Officiate. I personally never heard the word officiate before, and since I am a master's student and I'm a natural nerd, I had to go look it up. So I want to share that part with you. This is coming from brides.com. The article was titled "How to Perform and Officiate a Wedding Ceremony." What is a wedding officiant? A wedding officiant is a leader of the wedding ceremony. They work with the couple to prepare materials for the ceremony and perform the marriage on the day of. So anyway, his mother says, Ezra mother says, they already booked a rabbi. Shocked, her father, Amira's father, immediately questions her saying, You're not going with the imam. Ezra's mom, the Jewish mother, is confused at this point, and she says, and this is the funny part. It's supposed to be. She says, "Who is Auntie Mom?" To which Amira's mother says, "There's no Auntie Mom. It's an imam." She's imam. Can you spell it? Ow! No, go look it up. Well, okay. Imam is a leader of the prayer or community, a leader, a chief of the Muslim faith. So he says, that's why we wear this crown, or that's why he wears this crown, pardon, and points to his fez, which in this movie he calls a kufi. I don't know why. But he goes on to say that he got that fez from Minister Farrakhan. So then Ezra, who was fake, and right now he's doing exactly what his mom did. Remember when his mom brought up the police brutality and how the maid was her sister, and started pandering to black culture, lying. Why are you treating me like this? I'm thriving. That's what the mom said when he called her out. So even though she did it and he was able to see it, he can't see when he does it. So he says, "I love me some Farrakhan." So his mom, in disbelief, says, his mother questions him in disbelief and says that Farrakhan, his mother questioned him in disbelief as he says that Farrakhan is another GOAT, greatest of all time, like Malcolm X. Her father, Amira, teams up with his mother for the very first time, and they both cross-examine his supposed love for Farrakhan. So her mother tells her father, Amira, to tell the parents of the Jewish guy, the Jewish parents, of how Amira's father got that crown. So Amira's father goes on to say that he got it from Farrakhan, and it's his most prized gift. And then he asked, "Are you familiar with the minister's work?" Shots fired, family. He was taking shots right then. And she says, blind. Well, I don't know if she was blind or not to what he was, kind of taking a jab at her. She says, "Well, I'm familiar with what he said about the Jews." As you can see, she clapped back. What she was referring to was a book by Farrakhan, but obviously it's not authored by Farrakhan. Farrakhan said that he was the leader of the Nation of Islam when the book came out, but this book was put together by a Nation of Islam study group, a research team. And the research team did nothing but compilate facts upon facts upon facts in this book. There's nothing anti-Semitic in the content, but truth sounds like hate to those who hate the truth. That's right. That's right. Ain't nobody playing. Anyway, in the book, they cite facts like the story of Leo Frank. Leo Max Frank was an American factory superintendent who was convicted in 1913 of the murder of a 13-year-old employee, Mary Fagan, in Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta, stand up. His trial, conviction, and appeals attracted national attention. His lynching 2 years later, in response to the commutation of his death sentence, became the focus of social, regional, political, and racial concerns, particularly regarding anti-Semitism. He was found guilty of rape and murder of a little girl, and he got the death sentence. But the Jewish community, who was powerful, rich and powerful, was able to get the sentence commuted to life in jail, which was an outrage nationally. Today, the consensus, this is because of Jewish propaganda, I personally believe, just my opinion, Today, the consensus of researchers is that Frank was wrongly convicted and Jim Conley, a black guy, was likely the actual murderer. Remember, notice it says likely. They just blaming somebody. They're just blaming. They don't know. They're just shoot. This is the secret relationship between blacks and Jews. What happened was he was the boss at the job, and he used his white power and white privilege to grape a young girl. And after things got carried away, she died and he killed her. And then the janitor who was after hours, which was a black guy, he told him to clean up the mess. Ain't that something, y'all? Ain't that something? Hey, you come clean up. Don't that sound like people in press 333 if that sounds like something people in power would say? Hey, come clean up. Clean up my mess, Toby. That sounds like something the European in power says to the subordinate black man who's underneath him. Come clean up. So after old boy cleaned up the mess, got all the girls' DNA on him, got all the girls' blood on him, then everybody was like, Leo didn't do it. The janitor did it. Because, you know, black people just like to go around graping, black men like to go around graping women. The first movie that ever played in the White House was Birth of a Nation, a KKK movie about the graping of white women by black men. And this is the narrative pushed across the Jewish community. Born to a Jewish American family. Oh, I think that's all I wanted to read from this particular slide. Let me move forward. The case attracted national press attention, and many reporters deemed the conviction a travesty. Within Georgia, this outside criticism fueled anti-Semitism and hatred toward Frank. On August 16, 1915, he was kidnapped from prison by a group of armed men and lynched at Marietta. Shout out to Marietta, Georgia. Tap in. Mary Fagan's hometown. The next morning, I read that a little bit wrong. On August 16th, he was kidnapped from prison by a group of armed men and lynched in Marietta, Mary Fagan's hometown, the next morning. That's how I should have read it. The new governor vowed to punish the lynchers, who included prominent Marietta citizens. But of course, nobody was charged. In 1986, Frank was posthumously, that means something that happens after death, pardoned by the Georgia State Board of Pardons and Paroles. Although not officially absolved of the crime, they pardoned this man because of pressure from the ADL. This is in 1986. Somebody is ahead of me, but they're in good spirit. The ADL was created after this, even though it's on the PowerPoint. He could have just read it in the, if you read ahead of me, it's already on this particular slide, but you know, it's all good. Anyway, yeah. The new governor vowed, in 1986, Frank was pardoned. His case spurred the creation of the Anti-Defamation League. They said, we're going to protect Jews, guilty or not. I don't care if he guilty. We going to protect him. Okay? Anyway. This led to the creation of the Anti-Defamation League and also the resurgence of the KKK. Remember, family, never forget there were two KKKs, not one. Never forget there were two KKKs. The original KKK, which came out and it dissolved, it disappeared. Why did the KKK come back? Because of this Jewish guy. Respectfully, this is just the history, no judgment. The KKK came back because of this Jewish guy. That's why they came back into power. Crumb, the KKK was because of white people, black people. No, it's because of Jewish people. In the heat of the moment, the son-in-law insists, the future son-in-law, insists that they eat dinner. At the table, his mom says blacks don't like boats because of slavery, just like Jews don't like trains because of the Holocaust. Instantly, her father is triggered and asks, are you trying to compare the Holocaust to slavery? She snaps back by saying, oh no, I would never do that, because she's a flip-flopper. Then, after a short, thoughtful pause, she admits, I think blacks and Jews have a similar struggle. And the father says, well, Jews were technically the original slaves. Her mother, Amira's mother, calls out the flip-flopping of his Jewish mother, a trait that her son has seemed to inherit. Amira's mother says, oh, so you are comparing, because she said she wasn't, but she clearly just told a lie. And the father says, Amira's father, in a now heated exchange, her father says, oh, you're going back 3,500 years when slavery was only one great grandparent away from us? You're comparing ancient history for you to what happened to me yesterday. So then Ezra's father, the Jewish father, says that he doesn't have to go back 3,500 years. He can just go back 75 years ago, citing that Jews have been systematically eradicated to the point that they are now only 0.2% of the world population. Let's check the facts on that. As of 22, the world's population core Jewish population was estimated at 15 million. That's 0.2% of 8 billion worldwide. There are not a lot of them, not a lot at all. So Amira's Muslim father claps back and says, her father fires back saying that 0.2% seems to be doing pretty good right now. His mother says that they work hard, though. Remember, these people, you people, 0.2% of the people, these are the people that created the banks. These are your financiers. These are your loan sharks. These are your money moguls. These are the people who created coins of gold and silver. They created the monetary system. Yeah, we're only 0.2% of the population. Right, you're the richest people in the world because you created money. Poor baby. You got it so bad in that mansion. But, I'm not judging anybody. I'm just playing in to the Muslim sarcasm that they say about the Jewish plight. Her mother asked, what Amira's mother asked the Jewish mother, Ezra mother, what does your father do? His mother says proudly that Ezra's father is a podiatrist. You do, honey. You work so hard. And what did his father do? This is Amira's mother. She grills her by asking, and what about his father, which is Ezra's grandfather? His mom uncomfortably answers saying he was a podiatrist. She grills her mother asking once more, and what did his father do? This is the great grandfather. Again, his mom uncomfortably answers saying he was a podiatrist. They come from money. They don't know no parts of the struggle. They living high on the hog, sweet bread and sweet water, silver spoon in the mouth, poor baby. His father finally chimes in, adding, and a bookie. Yes, he did that on the side. Their people came up because, they were already rich. This is old money. However, there was a criminal element to the Jewish success. This is what the father says. So let's look for just a second at the criminal element of Jewish success, since the movie brought it up. If you open the door, I'll walk through it. Jewish American organized crime initially emerged in the American Jewish community during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. It had been referred to variously in media and popular culture as the Jewish mob, Jewish mafia, kosher mob, or kosher mafia, and kosher nostra, a direct reference to the Italian Cosa Nostra, a play on the word kosher, referring to Jewish dietary laws, while the later was a clack, a kaluk, I don't know how to pronounce that, of the Italian phrase Cosa Nostra, Italian for our thing, into the Yiddish, which was at the time the predominant language of the Jewish diaspora in the US. In the late 19th century in New York City, Monk Eastman, shout out to Monk Eastman, I hope he rot in hell, operated a powerful Jewish gang and competed with Italian and Irish gangs. These were the poorest white people in New York, Irish, the Jews, and the Italians. These were the most violent gangs in the early 20th century. So his mama and daddy, his daddy, he wasn't poor when he was gang affiliated. He was rich. He was a podiatrist, but he was still in the gang life. Gang. In the early 1920s, stimulated by the economic opportunities of the Roaring '20s and the later prohibition, Jewish organized crime figures such as Arnold Rothstein were controlling a wide range of criminal enterprises, including bootlegging, loan sharking, gambling, and bookmaking. Rothstein transformed organized crime from a thuggish activity by hoodlums into a big business. Remember, the Jews operate as civil servants. They take care of the finance part of government. They did that in Babylon. They did that in Morocco, and they did that in America in the black market. Remember, they're the ones who create the banks. They're the loan sharks. They're the ones with the finances. So they went into the criminal world and they organized it financially. Where was I at? Rothstein transformed organized crime from a thuggish activity by hoodlums into a big business, run like a corporation with himself at the top. Rothstein was allegedly responsible for fixing the 1919 World Series. Hey guys, Rothstein said you gotta lose. Remember, I think it was when Muhammad Ali had fought Sonny Liston. I was told Sonny Liston was paid to take that fall. Sonny Liston was going to beat the effing brakes off Muhammad Ali. Mike Tyson also confirmed that. I believe the same thing Mike Tyson believes, that Sonny Liston was going to beat the sugar honey iced tea out of Muhammad Ali, but the mob told Sonny Liston to take the fall. That's why he lost. And again, the family is ahead of me, but that's only because they're master students. If you look at this slide at the very bottom, I've got Murder Inc. on this slide. So technically he's only like a couple sentences. Anybody can just kind of read it and see that. But yeah, this is the secret relationship between blacks and Jews. I digress. So it says, hold on, let me just stretch. It's been almost 2 hours. Oh. Y'all know that felt good. But yeah, they made a movie about Rothstein. I want to ask the family, what movie did they make about Arnold Rothstein? Sorry, wrong button. What movie did they make about Arnold Rothstein? Go. Ding, 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 ding. That's right. That's right. The movie Casino. The movie Casino was about Arnold Rothstein. In the movie, he was Sam Rothstein. Let me just check the facts on that. The movie Casino was made based on Arnold Rothstein. This is according to casino.org. Wow, what a reference. Let me see, can I make this bigger? Every main character in Casino is based on a real-life individual. Sam, or otherwise known as Ace in the movie, Rothstein, is based on the Frank Rosenthal. Oh, I thought it was the other guy, Frank Rosenthal. Frank Rosen. Let me just check the facts on that. Yeah, it was him. Oh, and there's Ginger. Okay. See, that's why that's why, family, I'm the master student, not the master teacher. But yeah, he was another one. But yeah, they were all in it. A lot of these Jews. The movie Casino was based on that Jew, but this Jew was the movie Untouchables. Thank you so much. Anyway, where was I at? Let me go back over here. Rothstein transformed organized crime through the thuggish activity. I read that part. Rothstein allegedly responsible for fixing the 1919 World Series. At the same time, the Jewish bootlegging mob known as the Purple Gang, remember, when they were on those ships with the Moors, they were wearing purple. When they were under the Moors, they were wearing purple. Did Jewish pirates wear purple? Jewish pirates. Let me hit images. He's wearing brown and purple. He's wearing brown. Under his brown, he's wearing purple. And he's wearing a Muslim headdress. Muslim headdress. Somebody said close enough. Yeah, close enough. Yeah, close enough. Thank you so much, family. Charge it to my mind, not my heart. Anyway, when the Jews were under the Moors, these are Sephardic Jews. The number one population of Jews is Ashkenazi. The number two is Sephardic. The Sephardic Jews who were on the ships with the Moors, they wore purple. Yeah, he's wearing a turban. Thank you. I don't know what I said, but thank you so much for keeping me honest. Will Justice. I see you. I love you. I appreciate you. Anyway, yeah. When he was on the boats, they wore purple. So when they got to America and started gangbanging, wrong button. Where am I at? What button do I want? I want this button. And they started wearing purple. They called themselves the Purple Gang. Dominated the Detroit underworld, prohibition, while the Jewish Bugs and Meyer mob operated in LES, the Lower East Side of New York City, before being absorbed into Murder Inc. Crumb, you want to talk about the secret relation between blacks and Jews? Sure, let's talk about Murder Inc. How come if you type in Murder Inc? Oh, well, this does come up. I thought if you type in Murder Inc, the only thing that's going to come up is Irv Gotti and what's that guy's name? Irv Gotti and When I Cry, You Cry, We Cry Together. What's that guy name? Imitation Tupac. No, Imitation DMX. What is the guy who was copying DMX and Tupac? When I Cry, Sensitive Thug, You All Need Hugs. What's his name again? The guy that was, hold on. Ja Rule, that's it. How did I forget? Will Justice is on fire. Wherever he's at, he's levitating. That's what he's doing. I don't know where he's at, but he's not touching the ground right now. No part of his body's touching anything. He's in the air. Anyway, yeah, Ja Rule. Oh, Murder Inc. Crumb. No, the secret relationship between blacks and Jews. The same thing with what was the other guy who copied the Jews? Rockefeller was a Jew. Question, are the Rockefellers Jews? Answers, yes. The Rockefellers are Zionist Jews. Rockefeller forever, whole for life. Throw your diamonds in the air. I don't even know what he'd be saying. I can't quote Jay-Z. The Rockefeller died. How come Rockefeller and murder, the secret relationship between blacks and Jews? Go talk to Irv Gotti and Jay-Z. Okay? Go talk to Irv Gotti and Jay-Z about the secret relationship between blacks and Jews. Then we can talk about Rockefeller Records and Murder Inc. Two overtly black hip hop organizations that were inspired by their Jewish predecessors, by Jewish money moguls, by Jewish crime syndicates. Okay, y'all better talk black to me. Happy Black History Month. Can somebody in the comments type in Happy Black History Month? This February, I'm gonna give y'all the business. I'll type it in. I'll type it in all caps. Happy, if I can spell happy. Not Black History, not all caps for it, just the lack part. Happy Black History. Crumb, I don't celebrate Black history. You don't celebrate no history. Happy Black History Month. You don't know Black history, hip hop history, Jewish history. You don't know no Happy Black History Month. Y'all gonna have to do the history. I'm about to walk. If we're gonna tell the story, we're gonna tell the whole story. Happy Black History Month, huh? Huh? Happy Black History Month. I'm gonna give y'all the history. I don't celebrate. You don't celebrate no history. Come get a taste of what history tastes like. Next slide. Oh yeah. He was absorbed by Murder Inc. and becoming affiliates of the Italian American Mafia. The largely Jewish American and Italian American gang known as Murder Inc. and Jewish mobsters such as Meyer Lansky and Mickey Cohen, Harold Hookie Rothman, Dutch Schultz. Dutch Schultz was in what movie was Dutch Schultz in? The movie with Lawrence Fishburne, and I think it was this woman and she cut the man balls off and put him on the table. Dutch Schultz was in the movie where they cut that white man balls off and a black woman threw him on the table. There was a movie back in the day with Dutch Schultz. He was the main bad guy and his hoodlum. That's it. Woo, okay. We got to change it to Black history because the family know a little bit of history. In the movie Hoodlum, Dutch Schultz was the bad guy. But anyway, yeah, Dutch Schultz, Bugsy Siegel, they all developed close ties and gained a significant influence within the Italian American Mafia. These are all Jews who went into the crime syndicate, eventually forming a loosely organized, mostly Jewish and Italian criminal syndicate known in the press as the National Crime Syndicate. Jewish and Italian crime groups became increasingly interconnected in the 1920s and 30s all the way into the 60s and beyond, as both groups often occupied the same neighborhoods and social statuses of the time. The second ethnic crime group became especially close in New York City following the establishment of the close relationship between partners Lucky Luciano and Meyer Lansky. When Meyer Lansky joined the crime syndicate, that was another come up. That was like when Mario was able to eat that mushroom and he got big. That's what happened to the mob when Meyer Lansky, one of the most famous Jews, had joined the mob. And their subsequent elimination of many of the so-called Mustache Pete types, meaning Sicilian-born gangsters who often refused to work with non-Italians or even non-Sicilians. Remember, inside the mob, it was only family. Only family could be inside. That's what in the movie Goodfellas, the guy who the movie was about, he could never be a made man because he wasn't Italian. Mustache Pete, he got to die. The Jews killed that. This whole Italian only thing in the mob, the Jews destroyed that. Mustache Pete got to go. Whack him. I'm just joking. Whack him. But yeah, the Cohen crime family, because Cohen is a very Jewish name, of LA and Las Vegas was notably part of both the Jewish mafia and the Italian American mafia, and lines between the two ethnic criminal organizations often blurred throughout the 20th century. Same thing, tomato, La Cosa Nostra. So anyway, because remember, the father said, his father was a podiatrist. He's a podiatrist. His father was a podiatrist. His father's father was a podiatrist. But his father's father, his great-grandfather, was a part of the criminal element of Jewish society. And oh yeah, he came here with nothing like everybody else. I'm comparing our struggle, the Jewish struggle, to the black struggle. We came here with nothing, just like you. So then the mama says, actually, you did kind of sort of come here with the money that you made from the slave trade. Let's check the facts. Well, this isn't a fact. This is just what somebody wrote. This is a part of what they call anti-Semitic propaganda. I do subscribe to this. At the height of the American slavery, 78% of slave owners were ethnic Jews. 40% of the Jewish population were slave owners, while only 0.35% of white Americans own slave. Most of your slaveholders were Jews. But, it is what it is. According to, I forgot where I got this from. Please forgive me. But it says original articles, the role of Jews in the transatlantic slave trade. Remember, the first people to do the slave trade was in Iberia, or the Hebrew land, with the Spaniards. And after they kicked the Jews out with the Alhambra decree, they went down and started doing business with them. After they kicked the Jews out and the Jews went back to Africa, the Jews were doing business with them, and they called that the slave trade. Now, is it as big as people say it is? I'm not saying that, but I am saying what part of the slave trade there was conducted by Jews who got kicked out of Spain, or that time Iberia, or the Hebrew land, and they started doing business with their oppressors. It says the recent controversy instigated by Leonard somebody. Well, I'm not reading all this whole thing. It is what it is. You know, you've read the title. So he says when his wife starts going over this stuff, saying that you guys made money off our oppression, he says to his wife, "Preach, mother, preach, mother." You know, he was feeling it. So then a Jewish daddy was like, "Holy moly!" His name is Arnold. But after the failed dinner meet and greet, Ezra leads the conversation, saying that they should abandon his culture and not use a rabbi, and goes on to say that they should just use a mutual friend. And she flips the script because she's flip-flopping as well. Remember, her father said, establish your beliefs first, and then love will follow. She did not establish her beliefs first. Now she's having a problem with her love. And this is the first argument that they get into. And this is where her not putting her stuff on the table initially bites her in the butt. When y'all try to go out here with the beast and play kumbaya and smiling in their face, and you want to marry them and they your best friend, and you want to put love before your culture, you want to put your friends before your family, you know, those things are going to bite you in your butt when you find out that they have a culture which they hold near and dear, even if it only benefits them, and they're not tolerant of your culture at all. So she says, I want to use an imam. Now, I'm check. Okay, hold on. Check. Okay, y'all can still hear me. Oh, yeah. So now, remember when they first had that meet and greet, what did she say? What did she say at the beginning of the meet and greet? She says, I want something that represents just us, just him and just her. So based off what she said, he agrees with her. Yeah, something that represents just us. What represents us? A friend of ours. She says she want to use an imam. How does an imam represent him? Ah! Stop playing the fence. Put your belief system first so he will respect you. He starts name calling to shame her for not abandoning her culture and following him. After all, she did tell her parents at the meet and greet that she wanted somebody that represented just them. So he starts name calling because now she's being fake as F. And he's like, okay, Miss Shakur, when did you get so Muslim? I've been Muslim. I was born Muslim. And it's important to my dad, so I think we should go with it. Was that Muslim bacon you ate yesterday? You know, was that important? See, this is the thing, family. You can't press 555 if you don't like people who only use Christianity to their benefit. The most evilest people be out here cussing, drinking, fornicating, doing all types of ish, but when it suits them, they Christian. Family, I don't want to hear that Christian ish. Shots fired. I can relate. I can relate to the Tamahu. I don't want to hear that Muslim ish. I don't want to hear that Christian. Somebody in my family, I'm not going to drop no names or titles. Somebody in my family, the biggest sinner in the world, going to hell in a hand. I got a family member who going to hell in several different religions. But when it suits them, they want to be Christian RoboCop. Sit yo half-baked. Matter of fact, in the hood, them people who be playing all Christian, but they fake, we call those holy rollers. A holy roller, the term describes dancing, shaking, and other boisterous movements by church attendees who perceive themselves as being under the influence of the Holy Spirit. But as soon as they leave the parking lot, they playing Tupac. Was that Muslim bacon you ate? The first argument they had was because she's starting to flip-flop and now she want to stand for something even though she don't stand for anything. And now he's calling her out. Stop trying to have a culture. You know you fake. You know you phony. So stop playing with me. It actually was. It was Jewish bacon. Now she's trying to take a shot at him. Jewish bacon? Yeah, I never claimed to be super Jewish. I don't claim to be super Jewish. You know I hate my culture. He sarcastically asked, do you want me to face the bed towards Mecca? Though he's racist, she deserved it because her dad told her in the beginning of the film, get your beliefs in order. Now her failure leads her to her first argument with her future husband. Let me just shut these blinds, family. It's getting dark over here. Just give me just a second. I wasn't sharing screen. Let me share screen right there. I'm gonna throw some music on and I'll be right back. Just give me just a second. Lo-fi. Okay. So yeah, you didn't see the pictures before, but yeah, this is them after the family meet and greet, and they're arguing because now she's flip-flopping. You know, she doesn't stand for anything, and now she wants to take a stand, and he's calling her out, and she's like, "Well, you don't take a stand." He's like, "Yeah, I never took a stand. I never said I took a stand." So now, you know, this is honestly her fault because she's switching up the game. This is coming from Why Children Want to Become YouTubers. I'm sorry, this is coming from nayek.flvs.net. The article is titled Why Children Want to Become YouTubers. A study published in The Sun states that 75% of children ages 6 to 17 want to become YouTubers. A majority of Generation Z and millennials also choose becoming a YouTuber as their most desired career. Look, top 10 jobs kids want. Number 1, YouTuber. Number 2, blogger/vlogger. Back in the day, look, let me see. Number 4 is actor. I remember everybody wanted to be a rapper. Number 3 is rapper and singer. Don't nobody want to be no rapper. I want to go on YouTube. I want to be an actor. No, I want to be a YouTuber, filmmaker, doctor, TV presenter, athlete. Back in the day, our kids wanted to play football. Now, they just want to play Madden on YouTube. When I was a kid, we actually wanted to play football. Today's children, they just want to play Madden on YouTube and let you watch them. Football players yesterday are called gamers today. They don't do any physical sports or activities. Why is this important? Well, actually, before I tell you why it's important, here's my second source before I go into what I'm trying to say. What do you want to be when you grow up? Depends on where you're from. In China, the most desired career is to be an astronaut. In China, the second most desired career is to be a master teacher. Over in China, they want to be astronauts and master teachers. Over in America, the last thing the Chinese babies want to do is be a YouTuber. It's the lowest thing on the list. Only the goofies in China want to be a YouTuber. You know, and keep in mind, I myself am a YouTuber, so hopefully you don't get offended. But in America, the least desired, don't nobody want to be no damn astronaut. Don't nobody want to be a rapper no more. Don't nobody want to be an athlete. Well, they still want to be teachers, but they want to be YouTubers. They want to teach online. Do you know anybody like that? Do you know anybody like that? What's the chances you Americans are teaching online? Well, that's what we want to do. But yeah, why is this important? Because in this movie, he wants to be that's his dream job is to be a YouTuber. He really enjoys his childish work as a podcaster talking about Black culture. However, he is the typically subconscious racist who loves the fruit but hates the root. He is indifferent to the Black struggle. And his best friend and business partner says when their podcast is in its infancy that Black people and white people can never be friends. And he is very upset with that and says, how can you say that? Because we're best friends. She says, we can't forget what you people did and what you people are still doing. So now maybe Eddie Murphy, who is the ultra conscious Black man, he could be perceived as whatever, but now his LGBT friend is saying the exact same thing. So now he has to take it a little more seriously. After his podcast, both sets of parents come together to plan the wedding. These are two wedding planners. There are two wedding planners in the room. A hood Black man and a sedity white girl. The white woman suggests that old Hollywood theme for the wedding, and the mom replies, I just love old Hollywood. To which the father counters saying, you love the period when Black entertainers could not stay in a hotel they performed in? And she's like, that's an excellent point. And then she says, I've always hated Gone with the Wind because Gone with the Wind had stereotypical roles of Black women as fat and serving white women who are skinny, just like, the fat LGBT girl in this movement would have been one of the Gone with the Wind characters because she was very stereotypical in what a Black woman looks like. But moving on. So after that, they go on their bachelor party and bachelorette party. Her father chaperoned him, Ezra, at his party, and his mother chaperoned her at her bachelorette party. Both of their parents ruined the parties. After they both came back from their respective parties, this is what she said. Okay, she pulled the same tone deaf shit she does all the time. She said, Amira said, Ezra's mom is tone deaf. I believe that, and he is too. But that's what y'all do. So she knows that his mother is racist, and for the first time in the movie, she says, maybe I'm just like my mother to my... Okay, that's a Prince line. But you get it. She says that, you are as racist as your mother, but she doesn't call it racist. She calls it tone deaf, and hell, I'll take that. And he says, because he knows his mom does it, but he can't smell his own sugar honey iced tea. What type of shit is that to say? Trick, it's the truth. What do you mean? Bro, you can't handle the truth. She also reveals that she did not get the job that she was shooting for because she wants to be a strong, independent Black woman. Seeing that she is hurt by the rejection, because women can't handle rejection, he says to her, if it's any consolation, I can hold you down for a while. She says, no, Ezra, I don't want to be some kept woman, which is retarded. But anyway, he says, after she storms out the room, I'm just trying to think of ways to help you, all right? Let me call my friend, my family friend, Rick Greenwald, which is a very Jewish name. He's got connections. He'll look out for you on your next job. That's nepotism, family. What he described right then is called nepotism. I'm about to learn somebody something. Nepotism is a noun. Favoritism shown towards relatives. This is culture. This is amongst races. Different groups of people practice nepotism. Favoritism shown to relatives or close friends by those in power. So now he says, I'm gonna tap into my Jewish culture, which I hate, but when it suits me, I love my culture. Bro, you don't like Jewish culture. You just use Jewish culture when it's convenient to you, the way fake Christians use Christianity when it's convenient to them, even though they're the biggest demons on the face of the earth. Definition: nepotism is a form of favoritism shown to family members without regard to merit. Remember, this is culture. Well, he don't deserve to get hired, but he is my son. Give him the job. An example of nepotism is the appointment of family members to civil service. What group of people work in civil service? Often at the expense of a more qualified person. What group of people, what race of people are known to work in civil service and practice nepotism? Okay, so I played the whole thing because I didn't see anybody with a correct answer. Somebody shot, but okay, yeah, here we go. Yeah, Jewish people are famous for working. Jewish people are famous for working in the civil servant sector of the government. Jewish people work in non-elected government positions. They, some people call it shadow GOVT. I'm not going to say it because I'm going to get in trouble. I got a strike for saying it last time. I'll just type it. SHDOWGOVT, apostrophe T. Where's my apostrophe? No, that's a comma. They are famous for working in this type of government. This type of government are people who are in the government who you don't elect. Non-elected government officials are a part of the civil service, and those positions tend to be held by Jews. So when you see an example of nepotism and it says civil service, they're talking about a certain type of people who do this. This meme is coming from Alliance for Integrity. And the quote comes from Business Anti-Corruption Portal. Civilserviceblog.gov.uk. Civil Service Jewish Network. They call it nepotism, but they call it network. Yeah, if I say that, I'll probably get a strike. But yeah, that's what I'm talking about. They call it a civil service network. That's what they call it. The fact sheet is intended to serve as a general guide to the main practices that Jewish civil servants may practice. This may be Jewish employees who will hire other Jewish employees. This is nepotism, civil service. They call it networking. So we know Black people subscribe to crabs in a barrel. We don't have a culture. That's why we do the opposite of nepotism. And instead of helping each other up, we hold each other down. So because remember, she broke up with her boyfriend for some ignorant Black reason of keeping it real because he want a real nigga, which is freaking retarded. Now she's going against nepotism because she was raised like a crab in a barrel. She says, oh, the effing luxury. Everything I have, I've gotten on my own. Stop. That's so ignorant. I've worked really hard for it. I worked through all the racist BS and all for you to be able to come in and call your family friend to give me a job. You probably have got to give me a job that I probably should have got 5 years ago. How do you think that makes me feel? And it's okay. And and this is what he says to her. You stupid trick. It's okay to accept help from someone who loves you. Now, in this particular argument, is she being an ignorant NIGGA? and he is the voice of reason, or the other way around? Should we support nepotism because people who love you help you, or should we be disgusted by nepotism and we should all just get it on our own? You don't need your father's help. You don't need guidance from your family. You should go out there and struggle. And I was young and dumb. You know, that's what black women love to say. You should just be young and dumb and go out there and make a bunch of mistakes and learn the hard way versus getting help from your family, your community, you know, people who love you. What do you say? Is she right or is he right? That's really an opinionated question. There's no right or wrong answer, so I'm not going to play the Jeopardy music, but I just want to put that out there for you to think about if you've ever, you know, seen the movie or at least understand the concept. That's really easy for you to say because how life has worked for you. She is such an ignorant Nigger. Life could work for you the exact same way if you weren't so racist towards your own people, if you didn't practice self-hate, if you didn't go against your family and your father like Romeo and Juliet. What are you talking about, hooker? This trick is tweaking. The black community, the so-called black community, can come up if we work together, and that's a thing. Just because you didn't have it in your community, it should be a breath of fresh air that you're now a part of a network that supports you, goofy. I don't need him. What do I need a man for? Kevin Samuels, yes, I'm going there. Kevin Samuels said, when you get married, it's a unification of networks. You marry into his family or his network. And when she marries into your family, she marries into your network. But black people don't understand that. Black people don't understand unity. Black people don't understand nepotism. This cultural ideology is foreign to the black community. We're very much individuals. God bless the child that has his own. No, because in the Jewish community, if you good, they good. But in the black community, if you good, you good. I hate the idea that God bless the child has his own. That's so effing selfish. Family, I just want you to know, if I got food and you hungry, you eat too. Hold on. Drop a bomb for me. If I got food and you hungry, you eat too. I'm tired of that ignorant stuff in the black community where everybody got to get their own and we don't work together and you got to get yours and I'm going to get mine. Obviously, they don't do that in the Jewish community, and she don't understand or like or appreciate that, which is you got to keep it real. Got to be a real nigga. So stop being a real. How about you be a man? How about you be a woman? Stop trying to be a Nigga. That's not how it works for me, is what he's saying. So now, because she's coming from an ignorant position of her culture, she doesn't understand how a positive community is supposed to work together. So now, 3 months later, because they broke up after that, 3 months later, his podcast goes viral. I'm sorry. 3 months later, he is doing his podcast, which has been picked up by a major network during an episode. He says, but at the end of the day, when it comes to black and white people, I don't think love is enough. There's too many other outside factors. That's it, family. You people, racist trash. That's my take on it. Please tell me what you think. Now that you've sat through 2 hours of my tirade, I guess, or really a PowerPoint. A tirade is just kind of randomly going on a rant. When you do a PowerPoint, you know, there's a start, middle, and end. We going somewhere. We're not just ranting. But yeah, now that you sat through my PowerPoint, you can determine if you are a master's student. Do you like the way I go through pop culture? Oh, I'm sorry, wrong button. Wrong button again. What button do I want to press? Yeah, this is the button. If you are a master's student, if you sat through this thing for 2 hours, hit that like button. Whatever platform you're on right now, because I'm on like 100 platforms. Whatever platform you're on, hit the like button. This is your time to hit the like button. But family, let me just start from the top of how I usually start. I want to read and acknowledge my supporters, my donors, my patrons, the people who keep Crumb TV going, and who have taken the dollar challenge by donating $1 or more to money sign Crumb TV on Cash App. Psych L, he sent 20. He sent a donation. I see you. I love you. I appreciate you. Kick Rock says, "Come on, Passer." Gully Goddess, she took the dollar challenge. Crip Jesus, the Blue God. Jackie, I see you. I love you. I appreciate you. Tamala Gaston, she took the dollar challenge a couple times over. Vortex Ninja. I'm sorry. That's a tough name. I see you. I love you. I appreciate you. Reed's Learning Street. I see you. I love you. I appreciate you. Positive Vibes. I see you. I love you. I appreciate you. So yeah, if you want to take the dollar challenge, you can do so by donating $1 to the Money Sign Crumb TV. But you can also support by just hitting that like button. Family, is free. It's easy. It takes a second. It's only one click. It's just an easy thing to do. It works for the algorithm. It helps me out. It does a lot of things. But if you don't want to do that, I'm sorry. But that's the least you can do. Also, family, drop a comment. Wherever platform you're on right now, drop a comment. Even if just a 666, a 777, a 333, whatever the case may be, chime in. Not just once the live is over, go into the comments and drop your comment again. Because your comment right now is only on live stream. You can also drop a comment after the live stream on the comments. That also helps the video as well. Subscribe, family. Whatever channel you're on right now, subscribe to that channel. Because I'm on YouTube, I'm on Facebook, I'm not on Instagram and Twitch right now. But yeah, whatever platform you're on right now, hit the subscribe button there. With that said, family, I want to see if I can take calls. I'm gonna delete this part when it's over. After the live is over, this particular part of the video will be deleted. I want to take calls, or you can come on the live. Now that I've done the 2-hour thing, come on the line. Not obviously, you don't have to have you. You can call or come on the line even if you haven't seen the movie. If you've seen the PowerPoint, if you've been on this live for 2 hours, then I want you to either call in or you can join the live with me. The link is in the description. Is in the chat room. Let's talk black to me. That's just the saying, so-called black. But, throw some music on while I wait for you. Where my lo-fi at? Well, actually, I was listening to this 30 Hours beat by Kanye. This joint is just heat rock. I just been listening to it nonstop. And I was rapping earlier, so I'm gonna delete this part anyway. So I do be rapping. This beat is just fire. I really love it. You're not gonna be able to hear it for it, but while I wait for you to chime in. Okay, here we go. Yeah. Okay. Check it. You can get a dose of this. Ain't nothing close to this. Nobel activist, nonfiction vocalist, anti-passionate, low-pro killer, cocaine potency lyrical, dope dealer, profane poetry, spit like a gorilla, and a mega popular. In this Black Planet opera, the movement when I set the vision is like Verizon broadband, high definition, gladiator grammar, Pandora with a pen, more of an alpha aura, origin rock chem, and I'm on it. Weapons of mental mass destruction, atomic, confidential, sci-fi phonic. You can smell it in the air. You can smell it in the air. Forte warfare, backpack bombshell. Said it like Ric Flair. I don't even be rapping. I just like rambling on the mic. But no, I'm gonna give y'all a couple minutes. If you want to call in or come on the live, you can. I'm gonna delete this when we're done. I'm gonna delete this part when we're done. Here's another one while I wait for you. if you come. I'm gonna wheel the beat back. 30. Oh, here we go. Let's see who says what. Okay, I'm gonna pause this. Bring the brother in. What? Peace, brother. How are you? Pause this.
Hold on, let me shut down the YouTube real quick.
Okay. What? Peace, brother. How are you? Pause this.
Hold on, I gotta shut down the YouTube real quick. It's taking me a little bit too long. Hold up. Peace, brother. How are you? Pause this. Hold on, I gotta shut down the YouTube real quick. It's taking me a little bit too long. Hold up. Bang, done.
Okay. Peace and love, brother. How are you?
Man, you already know, man. You know, the first thing I'm gonna say is all that sellout stuff. You know what time it is. I'm not with none of that sellout stuff. So I hear myself again. So let's get it. Yo, I'm gonna say just like this. Rising power Nip. But Nip is probably rolling this grave right now with this crap. Like real dip. Listen, I'm telling you. You know what I'm saying? And everybody know what the hell I'm talking about. And I was saying something on the stream that you didn't address. So you know that Eddie Murphy is not one of them dudes who subscribe to nothing Black Power at all. At all. Let's remember that time when he got caught. He was like, I thought it was a girl. Yeah, right. You know daggone well that wasn't no girl, my dude.
Yeah. Oh, all facts. You know, he played a role, and I think he played that role like Al Pacino played Scarface. We know Al Pacino wasn't about that life, and Eddie Murphy, that was a role. That was all that was. But keep going.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So end of the day, man, these people keep playing. They play way too much, and they're satirizing a lot of the stuff, and they're trying to saturate us with the same bullshit. I just watched this joint the other day about how they used to run Hollywood, and low key they still do. You know what I'm saying? These small hats have stolen a whole culture and identity, and let's call things what they are. They ain't even who they say they are. So when he say he's a chameleon, they chameleons, because when they get into a culture, they hide their identity because they're able to, because they assimilate and mix in. Exactly. So it's like, yo, they're snitching on themselves by using a character, and they trying to actually save their genes, like, because they know they going down. Like, let's look at their birth rates. Let's call it what it is when it comes down to, like, you read that birth girth thing, the birth girth, where they talk about how they have a zero growth population. And let's look at, even in Israel right now, the cancer rates right now, they don't belong there. Let's call it what it is. They get skin cancer like a motherfucker where they claim is their homeland. If that was your homeland, why the fuck you burning to a crisp, my dope?
If I could add value to what you were saying, I want to show some receipts, just so the family can follow you. They may not be familiar with what you're saying, and I want to confirm that you're all wise, right, and exact. Give me just a second. Let me put this right here. I think this is where I can see that. So, a family, he's referring to a book called The Birth Dearth by Ben Wattenberg, who, as you can see, is a Jew by the name. And in the book, it talks about how the so-called danger of the declining birth rate in the U.S. and allied countries. This is one of the source materials for Dr. Francis Cress Welsing's book, the ISIS papers, the keys, the colors to the keys, or the keys to colors, or something like that. But yeah, keep going.
So, I mean, the thing is, like, this is what happens when you read books. I mean, you got to read, because they put it out there in plain English, and, well, they translate in other languages too. But if you speak other language, if you're a polyglot, they tell you what it is. And, you know, I hate that old adage, if you want to hide something from an N-word, put it in a
book. That's right. Brother, I want to ask you a real quick question, not to divert your thought. But going back to what you were saying about Eddie Murphy, Psych L333 asked, well, he said, and I wanted to ask you, Charlie Murphy would have been better. I don't know. What do you think, brother? Yes or no?
Yo, Charlie Murphy was hilarious, man. I'm gonna keep it real with you, but he knew what not to say. I'm gonna tell you just like this. He knew what not to say. All right, let's just put it this way. That whole story about his brother and Prince being all together all the time. Let's just leave it at that. You understand me. You understand me. You ain't telling me that a little dude that be wearing frilly and is all his friends wear frilly shirts. And then, and yo, you know who his protege is? Monet, what's her name? The one who said I'm not for male consumption or whatever. And she's
she's pan.
She's a pansexual.
Pansexual. That's it. Yes, sir.
That is the true definition of fuck everything. I mean, I'm just saying, like, everything, but not men though. No, not men.
Which is weird, but keep going.
Weird but I'm gonna say the genius though. Blame the whole Jordan's fetish on Prince. Prince is the one who went to Jordan and said, "Hey, we could go to Nike and get your own sneaker. It's gonna make millions, trust me." Because he knew like how to manipulate that whole structure. Like, it's like, listen, we'll use your celebrity and make a whole bunch of money. And what's really funny is that Michael Jordan's damn near a fucking billionaire now over these Jordans. And all they got to do is, hey, we'll just do a different material and put out the same shoe. How about that? Over and over and over again.
Genius.
So really though, I mean, I customize sneakers, but I wish I could customize them further. It's one of them things that I'm like, listen, that is something that I'm customizer for everything. Like, I'm wearing it. Like, this is what I do. It's one of those things. Like, if you're a creator, you're a creator. That's what it is. And for me, my problem is this. Like, why do you want something that everyone else has? This is following the narrative of, saying people are seeing people on camera on stage all the time and they look like them and they want to look more like them. So who do you think they're going to pick as a partner?
Brother, I wanted to ask you, trying to stay on topic because I want to close it out shortly, but do you think there is a secret relationship or any relationship that matter between blacks and Jews?
I mean, look at the history of Rhode Island and Providence plantations. Yes, the real whole name of Rhode Island is Rhode Island and Providence plantations. That's the whole name of it. Look at a lot of the symbols of these different states, whereas Massachusetts has a native under threat of a sword over his head, and it says under him to we have something about like order under subjugation, or basically through threat of violence is how you keep order. This is what they do. Who you think was orchestrating a lot of this stuff? These plantations was funded. Harvard was used enslaved people as collateral to build Harvard. All right, Yale, same thing. Name what do you call an Ivy League school, and a lot of times that they use us. And who was the funders? Who they were using people as collateral for? I mean, it's in the manifest. IBM, the computer company, was actually created to tally us as if we were cattle. I mean, this is all stuff you can just go look up. I mean, that's how I found it. I mean, it's like the funny thing is, I heard someone say it. I'm like, let me go check that out. Oh, wow. It checks out. It checks out every single time. Like, to this day, they funnel us to the school to prison pipeline happens because of who runs this entire thing. Who runs the hip? Like, this is not hip hop industry. The whole rap industry right now is just a rap industry. It ain't hip hop. They'll talk about nothing but us killing us, Now it used to be drug dealers talking about selling drugs. Now everybody talk about doing drugs. And like, what does that lead to?
You mentioned Yale, and I had to do a little research because, you know, I had to see if there is a secret relationship between blacks and Jews, because so-called blacks were used to fund the project. So if you look at Yale, there's a book on the inside. I'm sorry, inside the cover on a shield. I want to ask the listening audience, what does those letters, what do they look like? This is Yale. This is the logo for Yale. What
language is that?
What language is that?
What language is that?
I mean, what is that? Is that English? That's Spanish? That's what is that?
I mean, and you read it from one direction to the other, and it's not from left to right. It's from right to left. All right. So with that said, and what does that say? Let's translate it. Can we get a translation on that?
Let me check. What did it say on the Yale logo book? I think what does it say is what I should have said. The Yale University coat of arms is the primary emblem of Yale University. It has a field of color, yada, 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 and a book. And the Hebrew words, this is Hebrew, Urim and Thummim, inscribed upon it in Hebrew letters. Below in the shield and the scroll appears Yale's official motto, Latin, light and truth. Let me just see if I can, is it Hebrew? Light, and the Thummim meaning uncertain possible perfections, or perfect light, I guess, and elements of the hosen of the yada or the breastplate. Okay, so yeah, Yale is very Jewish. It's very Jewish. You don't get more Jewish than that.
And that's right here in New England.
Well, brother, you really blew my mind. We've got to do some more work together. You were in the comments, you were on fire, so I knew you coming in here, you're going to be on fire as well.
We'll talk after this too, so whatever.
Well, before I let you go, can you tell the family who you are, where we can find you at?
I'm Will Justice. I just got out of fake book jail. So you catch me on fake book, Insta scam. Like, yo, I want to start promoting melanated people a little bit more, because that's a black-owned platform, and you ain't gonna get banned over there for saying certain stuff ever. You know, you can say whatever about whatever, and you good. I mean, I'm on Unite the 99, another black-owned platform, but that's more on a esoteric type side. But that's for people that understand that there is actually more than what they want to put out here. So I'm Will Justice. It is what it is. Like, I'm from the Bean, I'm from Roxbury. You trying to get some things going up here in this area where we have a whole slew of gatekeepers who look like me but think like them. And I say that openly.
Okay. There it is, family. Will Justice of the Bean. I am your humble brother Crumb of Crumb TV. I appreciate everybody for tapping in. I want to thank you one more time. I want to actually leave you. It is my time. The exact same way I came to you. I'm your humble brother, and you are now watching Crumb TV. Los Angeles, take us out.
You are now watching Crumb TV. You're watching Crumb TV. This is Prema Osset in Los Angeles, Leimert Park, and you are now watching Crumb TV.
You are watching Crumb TV.
We're watching Crumb TV.
You are now watching Crumb TV. So subscribe.
I am the Grand Sheikess, Unity Temple number 80, More Science Temple of America, and you are watching Crumb TV.
Yo, this is that kid 179. You're now watching Crumb TV.
Crumb TV.